On the air with us, it is the one and only Mayor of Vicksburg, George Flaggs. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm great, Paul. How are you doing? I'm
good,
great.
Good. Listen, I saw this yesterday, and I said, well, we got to figure out exactly what, are you digging a ditch, or are you putting it on trucks, or is it in bottles, or the topic was City of Vicksburg, and you guys want to help out. You're sending 2 million gallons of water. Tell me about it.
No. What we've done, we've offered to send up to 2 million gallons of water to the city of Jackson by way of tankers, if in fact the requests come in. That's one. And in fact, Paul, I want you to know I made this offer about a week ago. Two is that we voted, my board, to send 15 pallets of water to Jackson. 5 pallets were delivered yesterday to Representative Deborah Gibbs at Strong Baptist Church. Today, 5 pallets of water, and that is roughly 1,600 bottles of water, 16-ounce bottle of water, will go to Credell Calhoun, President of the Board of Supervisors at the Hinds County Emergency Management Warehouse. And on Tuesday, Stephanie Foster will get another 5 pallets, which is 1,600 bottles of water to the same location. And I offered to send them by way of tanker. This is my suggestion a week ago, Paul, and that is when the call came in to me, how could I help Jackson with the business of getting some water once they had done that story about a business losing money because they had to boil water. I said, let me find out what I could do. I said, my plant, which produces about 11 million gallons a day, can provide 2 million gallons of water if you can get it tanked over. Well, what happened?
Right, hold on. First of all, we got a bad connection. You're real muffled, and I can't. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. So maybe that would help a little bit. I think that's a little bit better. When you say your plant, you have a water plant there that you're sending from your water plant. Is it the city water plant, or is it a private concern? It's the city
water plant that is run by a private company.
And it bottles them. And last week,
No. It's volume water. You put it in tank trucks. And you transport it.
All right.
Okay. Now, this is my suggestion was 2 weeks ago. Have the governor to have the National Guard truck water from Vicksburg to Jackson at whatever location. And business could come in there because this is high quality water. This water been rated the best in the last 4 years. And it's drinking water, not flushable water. And that's what I offer. Nobody responded to me. And so this week, when we got into the crisis, Representative Gibbs called me, President Calhoun called me, and Representative Stephen Fox called me, and I responded to them by sending the pallets of water, which is 16-ounce bottles, and there was 1,600 bottles per pallet. And we send 5 okay.
I'm just asking this one. Maybe some of the problems were, how do you handle that water if it's not in bottles? Or will restaurants be able to handle that through some of the reservoirs they have? Could they have taken it there directly from the truck?
It simply says that the truck will pull up on the parking lots, and they would take their own containers to that site, and the truck would then put the water in those containers.
All right. Seems to me that, Mayor, you're a little bit aggravated that you did this 2 weeks ago and there was no response. Who called you and asked you for help, first of all?
First who called me was Deborah Gibbs called me, state representative, about bottled water, Stephen Foster, and President Credell Calhoun. Now, I had conversations with business people asking me, could I help? And I told them how we could do this. And then they said, well, how you transport it? I said, get the governors to get the tankers to do it. You pull up to our pump in Vicksburg, and you load it, and you transport it to Jackson, and you unload it by container as the business come in.
All right.
And hold it.
Did anybody contact the governor about this? If you think it's a good idea, did you call the governor?
No, I did not call the governor. I made Jackson, the city of Jackson, aware that I help. That's
So, in
one.
other words, what
Two,
you're saying is that the city of Jackson didn't relay your offer to the governor's office.
nobody responded to my office, and I'm not blaming anybody. Secondly, there's a company out of Florida that have come to me, and we'll open an account. They're going to buy 5,000 gallons of water, and they're going to a Walmart on I think it's Greenway Drive in Jackson, and they're going to distribute the water. But I do have the capacity to give you 2 million gallons. I was talking about donating. This company is going to buy the water. We've already set up an account, and that's what they're going to do.
Well, wait a minute. Let me ask you this, though. Wouldn't the common sense thing to be with mayor to mayor, you pick up the phone and call Mayor Lumumba and make that offer to him? And why didn't you do that?
Let me tell you what I didn't do. I didn't call him. I texted him and told him that if he needs my assistance, I was here. And he texted me back these words: "Thank you, brother."
That's it.
That was it. Now, I'm not going to get out of my lane. I'm staying in my lane, but I'm not going to watch the people of Jackson without making a phone call. I text, as I always do when cities or whoever's in dire need.
I got to tell you, Mayor, the more information, you want to give the guy some credit here somewhere, but it's getting more and more difficult. Wyatt Emmerich, and we're going to see if we can get him on next week. Wyatt is he's a publisher of many newspapers. I think this was in his Northside Sun, but he published apparently a spreadsheet here, and I'm not sure. I don't think some people would argue with me on this one that this has already been done. I think the way it was preferenced in the article is these are the expenditures that they are thinking about, or the governor's thinking about, but it had his government ARPA funds on here, or this $42 million. And you know of that $42 million, how much, if this spreadsheet is accurate on his expenditures, if this was Vicksburg, I think you'd have problems. If you were in dire need, you got $42 million to help fix what is underground in the sewer and the water system, and you were planning on spending only 5.9 of that $42 million on wastewater treatment projects. The rest of it were lying things like $4 million for Ferry Street Soul City Market, Convention Center appropriation $1 million, Jackson State Foundation $200,000, something called Bean Path, I have no idea, $250,000, technical assistance for the WTP $950,000, sanitary sewer evaluation $1.8 million. But of the $42 million, only 5.9 was actually put to wastewater treatment projects. What do you think about that?
Well, let me just say this. We're in the midst of a crisis, and I don't think it's fair for me to criticize what has happened. I think what we need to talk about how we get out of this crisis and go forward. Now, this is what I believe, and I talked to the Congress about this. I believe we'll have a plan of action going forward. I believe this crisis could have been prevented if they had a plan in time and serious. That it's not. It don't take rocket scientists to run a water plant.
Well, I understand that, George. But look, when you say that, that is an indictment of the mayor itself. When you say that this could have been avoided, because I think everybody on planet Earth would agree with you that this has been going on and on. I just had Topher, the rapper, on that soundbite, and he is not the only person that has said this. On our C-Smart text line and also on Twitter, I've read this numerous times, that they believe this guy was so incompetent, he had no idea how to fix it. He wanted to get it to the point where it got to the level of only the state or the federal government could to solve the situation. I'll give you another shot here. Hold on. Take a deep breath. Okay, hold on. Take a breath. When you talk about your city, Mayor, as far as how you're handling this and that money that's coming in for infrastructure, what's Vicksburg doing?
I think what we're doing is doing what the law requires, and that is we provide money for the underserved community. We are plugging the holes for lost revenues, and at the same time, we're trying to qualify for the infrastructure proposal that the legislature passed, which I think is a disaster, but we're trying to work through it. And the reason why they say is that we shouldn't have to use the ARPA money to match our infrastructure needs. There's an infrastructure bill passed, and there's an ARPA bill passed. What we ought to be able to do is use any money that's available to our budgets, surplus or general fund, and match it so that we can get the infrastructure money. I have expressed it to my senator, and I expressed it to the governor's office, and I think they're looking at it.
Is that gonna delay the actual work or contracts being let out? Do you have the money to do that?
We're talking for the second round, not this round. This round.
Oh, the second round. Okay, yeah, I got you. I got you.
I think what they can do is perfect it by just cap the amount of money each city can use based upon their matching fund, and then let us use any money that's available. It is unfair for us to have to use ARPA money to match ARPA money to get infrastructure money when the money will sit here for lost revenue, tourism, and for other needs of the community.
When you look at, and we had talked to the lieutenant governor and the speaker this week and several other people, apparently they have made, there is no plan. You heard Benny Thompson say this more than once. If Benny Thompson is going to be able to help out in Washington, and he has a power base to do that, certainly his homeland security and everything else, but apparently just as the mayor has not reached out to you, he's not reached out to the delegation in Washington, namely, of course, Benny Thompson, who has a lot of people in his district there. And your thoughts on that? You have to ask why.
To the mayor's credit, Congressman Thompson told me that he had talked to him about an hour and 45 minutes, and they had resolved the differences of understanding that, and that the plan will be coming. But in the midst of this crisis, the plan had not been produced, and that's
but come on, that's after the horses have got out of the barn. I mean, that's worthless. That's worthless.
Absolutely. But let me just tell you what, all of this has been about politics, and when you have crises, you have to remove politics and use common sense and communicate. I think from the governor down to the board, they should communicate. If I got a need, I'm going to communicate with Republican, Democrat, Independent, Trump.
I know you will, but you listen. You're a different makeup as far as a politician, and now operating as an independent or whatever you want to call yourself. You're a different person than the mayor sitting in the mayor's office in Jackson, Mississippi, and many other places too. To be honest with you, and I've got to ask you though, that if you were still in the state legislature, what would be your recommendation? Can this mayor financially, with a plan, putting people together, knowing of everything that else is going on with Siemens, with the garbage situation and everything else, is it better for the state? And if you were in the state legislature, is it better for the state to take this over on a temporary basis, as they did some places on the coast during Katrina, and get this thing on the feet and then return it to the city?
Absolutely. Emphatically. You have come to that point. The residents of the city of Jackson and the business is entitled to effective government, effective service as it works to delivering water to them.
Yeah.
And absolutely.
I will tell you this. I've talked to quite a few African American black legislators and others. They seem to be on the same page on this one. It is ironic that some of the liberal media that exist in the state of Mississippi, who are Caucasian Americans, have been throwing out the racism about this. And it's not coming from a lot of African Americans, and I thought that was an irony. It's always good talking to you, sir. Hopefully that water will find its way to the parched throats of the people in the capital city that need it. I thank you for taking some time, sir.
Well, Paul, thank you, and all I can tell you, I'm here if needed, but I'm not going to get in nobody else's line.
I got you. Thank you, sir.